channel after news channel after news channel. Ever wonder why they report the same news? This is Wake Up America.
Brought to you by Citizen Stringer.
The media has become absolute lunacy. What makes us different? We just tell the truth. Daily headlines, politics, social issues, focusing on headlines that the mainstream media ignores. Conservative to the core and honest, sometimes to a fault. Unapologetically American. Welcome to Wake Up America with your host, Stephen Oatley.
Yo, what's going on? Yo, what's up? Sorry about the shaking of the table because I put two tables together and then put them on the adjustable rising stand and all that. And I didn't think about it that it's going to teeter. So I need to see if I can find an adjustable four-legged set that can hold this table that's now 60 inches wide by 80 inches long. You know, like almost like a conference table that I built. It's very nice. Very nice. Anyway, my name is Steve. This show is called Wake Up America. I'm doing it early. It's not going to be a full hour. I'm doing it early today because we have bunnies at our house, and we need to build these bunny bins, whatever. So long story short, I got to be like a dad and stuff. And usually I try to take it easy on Wednesday because it's like the middle of the week and blah, blah, blah. So that's that. But we do have some news that we got to get through first. And but first, this show is sponsored by Spartan Armor Systems. Spartan Armor Systems is a Tucson, Arizona-based body armor manufacturer. In addition to body armor, they make hats, shirts, pouches, tactical plate carriers, tactical plates. They got up to level 4 ceramic, I think. They also got targets. They got everything. Go check them out. SpartanArmorSystems.com. Use code YEET, and you get 5% off your order. Huge supporters of the show. We've been around. They've been with us since, pretty much inception. Also, too, you may see a link in the chat. April's going to throw it in all the chats again. If you didn't order a Patriot box last month, like if you ordered it, trust me, if you haven't ordered a Patriot box, a $45 one, the new one from politicallyincorrectstore.com, and you were really pissed off that you didn't get the Scooter Steve t-shirt, last year or whatever, guess what? Because all the Patriot boxes are going to have that Scooter Steve mug in there, okay? And these are the June boxes, so if you place your order today, I'll still give you June's box, even though typically it's the next month, but whatever. So, it's just a way. One, I ordered a shit ton of mugs. They're going to be in tomorrow, and I'm going to start printing them. The shirts I'll do probably on Friday, and then I'll ship them all out over the weekend. So go to politicallyincorrectstore.com and place your order for a Patriot box. Choose your size. Shit, now someone's here. Hold on. The rest of the coffee. I wish I had some like hold music or something. Be right back. I should have had that prepared. Anyway, shit, I forgot what I was talking about. I don't know. I tell you, Wednesdays are like, it's a hump day. It means it's like halfway through the work week. But for me, it's like the day that I just need to stop and relax. We're going to talk about a couple of news stories real quick. We got to, and I did a whole hour on it last night, so I don't want to do too much, except there's some more information. That came out about yesterday's J6 hearing with Cassidy Hutchinson, who testified, 25 years old, very young, but she testified about a whole bunch of stuff that she flat out made up, which is funny. And you know what? One thing that's kind of weird, only in America could you chair on a committee whose sole purpose it is to ruin the man that you're suing personally. Does anyone not realize that Benny Thompson, the chairman of the January 6th commission to investigate the riots, whatever, he's also suing Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and all these people publicly. Like he's suing them. He's suing them in his personal capacity, which caused me today to spend about 3 hours to find out if we could sue the people that are in Washington, the members of that January 6th committee, if we could sue them in their personal capacity. Because here's the thing. Just as a citizen and as someone that voted for Donald Trump personally, myself, and I had a conversation with someone today, a long conversation, a California guy, believe it or not, but he's a conservative. He assured me that there are conservatives in California. But we were talking about the fact that so many of these politicians they're just full of shit. Like through, whether or not you're Republican or Democrat, it doesn't even matter. But specifically on this January 6th commission, and this guy's a lawyer too. And he's like, nothing they're doing is following any legal precedent, which means that this is made for theater. It's not made to actually, go after and get DOJ, referrals. It's not made to do anything. The only thing it's made to do is try all of the people that they're talking about in the public court of opinion. That's it. But isn't it weird that Benny Thompson, in his private capacity, so Chairman Thompson, the one that's chairing this whole investigation into Donald Trump, I know I should say the investigation into January 6th, but it's not. It's not about January 6th. Everybody knows that. This isn't an investigation about January 6th. Instead, this is an investigation into Donald Trump. But isn't it weird that in his personal capacity, he is suing Donald Trump in Donald Trump's personal capacity for what happened on January 6th and the threats and everything he faced, and Rudy Giuliani and the Proud Boys and all this stuff. And I think it's really, really funny that he is suing them while literally chairing a public smear campaign. Wouldn't that be called? Isn't it weird that they talk about witness intimidation and all that stuff when he's effectively ruining any possible jury pool by chairing a commission that's going, you know what I mean? It's so silly, and it doesn't make any real sense. But anyway, so back to the bullshit of this hearing yesterday. We already know now, unless you've been living under a rock, you understand that the Secret Service story she told yesterday about Donald Trump suddenly grabbing a Secret Service agent by the throat, it's made up. It's made up. And the people that apparently were in the SUV, the Secret Service agents that are current Secret Service agents, are more than willing to testify under oath that the story is made up. The person who allegedly told her the story, the guy Bobby, whatever his name was, Oswald or whatever, that guy has also come out publicly and said he will testify under oath that he said no such thing to her. So she made up a story. Even yesterday on Jake Tapper, on CNN's Tapper, or whatever the hell his stupid ass show is called, he had Congressman Raskin on, and he was questioning the same things. And Raskin's like, listen, I don't know if what she said is true, but I have no reason to believe it's not. Even though it's hearsay, it's still stuff that the public needs to hear. It's manufactured, it's manufactured evidence, and darn well that they knew it was. Darn well that the January 6th Commission realized that they were losing the American public's interest into what's going on, so they decided that the only thing they could possibly do was throw a Hail Mary up there and see if it sticks anywhere else. But they chose someone that's and I read one article, and this isn't even, I don't know if this is true or not, but it said that the reason why Cassidy Hutchinson was needed to testify, she switched lawyers, blah, blah, blah. She's been going back and forth about testifying or not. And the reason why there's such a sense of urgency in her testifying was allegedly because of death threats that she was receiving. I've never even heard of this woman before yesterday. I'll be honest with you. Never even heard of her before. But it's funny because, they talked about the guns. They talked about the fact that Donald Trump knew that there were guns that protesters had long guns and were hiding in bushes as sentries or trees, which it's just not true. You can, even the video that they showed as evidence that there were people in trees, the guy didn't even have a gun on him. And so and I just keep saying 140,000 hours of footage and you can't even provide one photo of a guy with a long gun. Like, come on. How many photos are out there with a guy with the horns on his head? But you can't even find one photo that documents that anyone that was there was armed. And keep in mind, there were people that were armed that day. There was a trans person from Michigan that traveled to the Capitol in an effort to fight with patriots by its own admission. That person, when they got their butts kicked by patriots and changed out of their clothing underneath a bush and got pepper sprayed, they ran back to their car. They got into the car and got pulled over by Metro PD officers. The Metro PD officers found I forgot what kind of handgun it was, but in an extended mag, and arrested the person. That person had all their charges dropped and mysteriously was allowed to go back home. It's so silly. And the other person that had a gun that was arrested at the Capitol was a DEA agent. They charged him with, protesting at the Capitol and all that until he said, hey, listen, I was there with my FBI buddies and I'm going to tell on you. And they dropped his charges. Like, true story. Everyone can look it up. You could fact check the shit out of what I'm saying right now. But the whole thing, like, and I hope people will, and I keep praying, like I've read a lot of articles today about this specifically. I've read a lot of news articles about it, almost every single one that's been written, probably. Just trying to see at what point in the article do they say that her account of what happened inside the Beast, even though they didn't use the Beast that day, they were in an SUV. But where they would, if any media would say, hey, start off the article and say she leveled harsh allegations that are being heavily disputed by the people that she's alleging were, assaulted by Donald Trump. Do you know what I mean? And virtually none of the articles did that in the very beginning. No, they outlined all the things in the very last paragraph. They're like, this has been disputed. And the Secret Service seemingly knows that this is going on and is trying their best to get out ahead of it. The Secret Service released a statement today through their spokesperson, Anthony Guglielmo. I can't say his last name. Anyway, he said the United States Secret Service has been cooperating with the Select Committee since its inception in the spring of 2021 and will continue to do so, including by responding to the record, responding on the record to the committee regarding the new allegations surfaced in Tuesday's testimony. Because it's not true. It's not true. But what they're hoping now is, like I said, this was the Hail Mary, right? They realized they probably are, using all these big polling companies, and they realized that the general public isn't buying their January 6th hearing. So they had to throw out some heavy allegations, right? They had to throw out some heavy allegations. While the Secret Service and the military on January 6th were holding back a lot of protesters, it's the same thing when you go through a rally. They're not going to let a bunch of people come up in front of the president. So they have all the, the people that are allowed to go by, the people that go through security and get, make sure they don't have any weapons on them. Then they're allowed. It's the same as at every Save America rally across the United States, where you have to undergo like certain stringent protocols in order just to get in there. The Secret Service on January 6th was no different. They had them all lined up. They had the military out there as well. And they were searching people that were coming into this section in front of President Trump. President Trump was apparently a little pissed off about it because during your speech, during his speech, you may remember him saying, Secret Service, you do a great job. Military, you do a great job. But let them in. Let them come in. Let them come in. He said it a couple of times during his speech. The January 6th Commission yesterday took that as saying, let all these guys that are armed with AR-15s and handguns and all this stuff, because that's what they started off. You remember, if you watched the hearing yesterday, they started off with some weird radio communication where it was like,
we have a 6'5" man with an AR-15, and I believe on the rifle it said GOP forever.
Like, they just make stuff up all the time. But we heard this anonymous. We don't know who the officers were that were making the call. There's no photos of anybody with any weapons. I'll ask you that. We have several hundred people watching right now. Have any of you guys seen a photo or a video? Any of you seen a photo or a video of someone that was either on Capitol grounds or inside the Capitol that was armed, and that wasn't law enforcement? Because there were several law enforcement there that are legally permitted to carry. Have you seen anyone that had a gun, especially a long gun? Yeah, I mean, that's something you can't miss. They said it was an
AR-15.
You can't miss it. But nobody had a weapon. But yet they are still pushing that agenda. They keep saying it all the time. You know who some of the people did have knives? John Sullivan had a knife. John Sullivan is still out walking the streets in Provo, Utah, or wherever the fuck he lives now. He's facing 7 federal felonies. He's not locked up for some reason. They don't care. He's the only person that I heard chanting inside the Capitol to burn it down. was a independent filmmaker who got paid $80,000 by CNN and MSNBC and all these other news outlets, not MSNBC, NBC, I think. But definitely CNN. They paid him $35,000 for his murder footage of Ashley Babbitt being shot and killed by the police officer who got away with it for murdering an unarmed person. But nobody else had weapons. No, you didn't see any weapons. You didn't hear it. Yes, they had signs in the battalion. You know, there were. And again, just for clarity, I got to do this once every show when I talk about January 6th. I am not apologizing for the actions that took place that day. I am not condoning that behavior. Those people were rioters. The people that stormed the Capitol, the people that broke windows, the people that assaulted police are not patriots. And I know it pisses people off when I say that, but it's true. You're not patriots by my definition of what a patriot is. So, and I don't like you. Like if you were one of those people. However, if you're one of the people that the Capitol Police held the door for and nodded at you or took pictures with or shook your hand as you walked into the Capitol, no, you're a patriot. You know, there's a difference. There's a difference. The people that were committing crimes that day are not patriotic. It's not. You know, the people that smashed windows out of the Capitol, it's not patriotic. The people that put their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, you're not patriotic. The people that went down and sat in all the seats in Congress, you're not patriotic. And that's my opinion, and opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and everyone tries to use them, unless you can't. And luckily, this is my show, so my opinion is the only one that matters in this regard, especially when I'm exerting my opinion. But long story short, this whole thing yesterday was just a sham. It was an effort to take away from everything else that's happening. It's an effort to take away from Roe versus Wade. And here's the truth: Roe versus Wade. Who was it? Maxine Waters got down there and said, "We're going to have millions of people marching down the streets protesting. You think this is big? You haven't seen anything yet." Yeah, those protests are done. They're done. They're done. So what? And they knew that. They knew that from the first night. It didn't have the turnout they wanted. Second night, there wasn't mass violence and chaos like the media was projecting. There wasn't. So what did they do? Oh shit. All of a sudden, we have to have this special hearing. They announced it on Monday afternoon. They're going to have a hearing in 24 hours. A special urgent hearing, they said. And then we hear this fake testimony. Virtually every bit of it was fake. Everything from the letter that she apparently wrote on the chief of staff's notepad, which that's in question because the White House lawyer, I believe, is the one that's arguing, and he didn't like Trump, from what I understand. He's the Sigliotti or whatever the hell his name is. From what I understand, isn't he the one that was criticizing Donald Trump during? And I could be wrong about that, but he came out after her whole testimony and said she didn't write that letter. I wrote that letter. Like, you understand, like what we heard yesterday, and a lot of people are like saying, so what? So what? She got it wrong on 2%. 2% of her whole thing was wrong. We still have to believe everything else. Nope, that's not the way it works. If you're lying under oath, meaning you take an oath to swear to tell the truth, so help you God, and then you lie, everything you said before is shit. Like it would have been I would have loved to hear how the left news outlets would have been like, you know, she said, so help me God, and then she lies about Donald Trump attacking a Secret Service agent. God's like, okay. And he freaking sends a lightning bolt into her skull. Like, can you imagine how Secret Service would have, Donald Trump summons God to strike a lightning bolt into this woman's head. You know what I mean? No matter what, the media is always just going to portray what they want. It has they don't care about being honest. And I gotta say, I'm not really impressed with the media and how they're handling this as well. Because so many people, like the Washington Examiner, granted they're a shill news organization, but and the Washington Post did the same thing. Today, they've published articles talking about how she was so valiant and brave for getting up there and testifying, putting her life potentially at risk for testifying. She didn't testify. She told a story, a fiction story, that the only purpose of that story was to do, mind you, the same exact thing that transpired the entire time since January 6th. Was to attack Donald Trump. I've long said that nobody benefited more than the Democrats by the riots on January 6th. It stopped the objection of the electorates, which is what Donald Trump and Republicans and Americans wanted. We wanted to hear whatever perceived fraud was out there. We wanted to hear it. We wanted to hear it on Congress floor. That's why you object to the electorate. We had the numbers. We had 14 senators that were going to object to certain states and all the congressmen. You know what I mean? We had those numbers. So by saying that Donald Trump benefited by a riot at the Capitol, or Republicans or conservatives or Americans benefited by the riot at the Capitol, would be false. The only people that actually benefited by that riot that day and everything that's transpired since are Democrats. Look at it. You have little local candidates that are literally invoking Trump's name just to try to stir up their pot. It's a school board races where they're having debates and they're like, that person voted for Donald Trump. I'm not a Trumper. I won't vote for Donald Trump. And they say all these things because they know that you mention Trump's name in an election, you're either going to get the people that really like Donald Trump or you're going to get the people that are on the fence and don't want to be known as a Trump supporter, because the left and the media and everybody's villainized anyone who voted for Trump or anyone who aligns with the Republican Party. We're all being villainized. And that's why I think, before the mail came or FedEx, I was talking about why can't we just as a people sue the members of the January 6th committee? And I know because they have sovereign immunity and all that stuff because they're acting in their capacity as congressmen. But we should have the ability, and laws should be introduced so we do have the ability to hold our legislators accountable. Right now, there's enough evidence to prove that this isn't an investigation to get to the bottom of what transpired on January 6th. I would back an actual investigation to find out what happened and what transpired behind the scenes to allow January 6th to happen, because there were some major issues that allowed that to transpire. We know that. This is not that. This is a political attack. This is like a multi-feature film attack ad that would air on national television against your political opponent. That's what they're doing. But they're not just targeting Donald Trump. Granted, that's where a lot of it is. They're attacking politicians. They're attacking their news networks. You're not hearing any of the CNN, White House correspondents that reached out and sent, the White House, questions or text messages. And they did. Every journalist that had a contact in Washington that day was texting and said, when is Donald Trump going to speak? When is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Every journalist from every single outlet. The only people they're talking about are Fox News. Sean Hannity this. Sean Hannity, again, is a rhino. Yeah, he put all his eggs in the Dr. Oz basket. I don't like Sean Hannity for that, because he shilled for, a Democrat that's posing as a Republican. But that's a story for another day. But here's the thing that you have to understand is that until there's some sort of accountability, and I know everyone's like, oh, we'll do a red wave in November, and then we're going to set up our own commissions, and we're going to investigate, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter, because then we're going to do the same thing they did. We're not going to actually get to the bottom of anything. Yes, I believe that we're going to have a majority in November, but you know what I believe we're going to have a majority of? A bunch of rhinos. We're going to have a bunch of people in there that go and represent. This is a problem with politics, and I've said this before too, so it may be the same thing for some of you. But the problem with, partisan politics, right? So where a Republican gets elected, or, that we'll just say Republicans, because it's not conservative. I'm a conservative. I'm not a Republican anymore. But so when a Republican gets elected, they say, I'm going to be the voice of all of our constituents. I'm going to look and I'm going to do my best to help my area, whatever the case is, to help my constituents. The problem is that elected politicians, whether Democrat or Republican, seemingly forget that their constituents aren't just the ones that align with them politically. And I know it's so easy to say that right now. I know it is. I know it's so easy for me to say that Ben Klein, who's the GOP congressman for my district, should be representing everybody, both on the left hand and on the right side, the Democrats and the Republicans and the things they want. But isn't that what a politician is supposed to do, is truly to go to Washington to actually make the communities better for their people? And that does involve some liberal policies. That does involve conservative policies or right-leaning or left-leaning policies, because in all reality, this isn't a country of Republicans or Democrats. As much as everyone's trying to make it. This is a country of Republicans, Democrats living together. It's not a country of Republicans or Democrats. And that's how our politicians go in. You know, that they go in and then they fight over partisan issues. Like, you got people on the left saying the border crisis isn't our issue. You got people on the right saying the border crisis is all the other issues. And I'll be honest, the border crisis is on everybody there. It's on Biden. It's on all members of Congress and all members of the Senate. That's who it is. That's who it's on. It's not on anybody else. You know, and it's crazy, because I think Kamala Harris today talked about the border crisis a little bit. And I don't know if it was today. Yeah, it was. She broke her silence on 53 Texas migrant deaths. But she didn't really break her silence. Instead, she attacked Governor Abbott, because Governor Abbott, rightly so, mind you, he said the deaths of those 53 migrants lie squarely on the shoulders of the Biden administration and Biden himself, because of the policies that they put into place. The fact that they've made this country more welcoming than it can handle, you know, just saying, come over, we're not going to deport you, do like all the stuff that they've done. And there's too much shit to talk about in terms of all the bad border policies and all that stuff that they've been doing. But Kamala Harris yesterday took on Texas Republican Governor Abbott's response to the news that 53 migrants died in the back of that semi-trailer in Texas after being left alone in that semi-truck. Her statement was saying, how the governor of that state responded really highlights a part of the problem, because his response when there are 50 dead bodies in the state is to go straight to politics instead of dealing with the realities of the issue. I would just like to, and all of you guys know this, but the hypocrisy in her fucking statement is unbelievable. She said, his response is to go straight into politics. Look at what politicians do. That is what they do. With the Uvalde massacre, right? When the guy walked into the school and shot up all those kids and teachers, the Democrats ran right to gun control, right to the fact that, 18-year-olds shouldn't be able to buy long guns. Republicans were fighting against that. Some Republicans were, said the same thing Kamala Harris said today, where this shouldn't be about politics. And that seems like it's a thing to go back and forth. When we have a crisis overseas, this shouldn't be about politics. Everything is about politics. It's always going to be, because we, again, can't coexist. Seemingly, we can't coexist as Republicans and Democrats. The only thing we can do is sit there and fight with each other repeatedly and constantly. We have no ability to coexist, which is weird, because I'm married to a liberal and we coexist. Granted, there are things that we don't talk about. And I'm sure tonight's going to be a night full of cursing and yelling and probably a beer or two. She'll probably drink a lot of wine, because we're trying to set up these bunny bins or bunny barns or whatever the hell they're called for the bunnies that we have. And I'm not giving up. I still want another kid. But yeah, it's crazy. The politics here is just, I don't know it's just sad, man. It's sad. And a lot of people say, oh, what's your show? Like when I tell them, because I'm my biggest advertiser. I go around and if I talk to anybody and they're like, what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, I host a podcast called Wake Up America. And they're like, oh, is it, do you lean right or left? And I said, well, I'm a conservative, but I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty pissed at everybody. I think right now where I lean is the American way. That's what I think I lean. I don't think I lean right. I don't think I lean left. I have my values, which I believe are American values. And just because someone doesn't share my value doesn't mean that their value isn't an American value. Do you understand that? Because they're an American. So if they value something, even if it doesn't align with the way I value things, it's still an American value. That's the beauty of this country, or what it's supposed to be, is that we can maybe unify by like waking the fuck up or something. Excuse my French. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's people forget that. There are things that are just like, I find morally, it's not even morally, like the abortion thing. And I know it's in the news and I don't like talking about it that much, but for me, abortion isn't wrong because it's a sin of God or anything like that, because I'm not super religious. It's wrong because it's a baby. like that's the most common sense, down to earth approach that I can give to it. It's wrong because I saw the ultrasounds of my kids. Well, as they were, as my wife was carrying them. They're wrong because when I saw my kids come out and they're full of nasty gunk and shit, but you know what? It was a fucking person. It was a person. Good, bad, whatever. It didn't matter. We were poor as shit when we had kids. And when I say poor, like poorer than you know. We think we know the day she was conceived, or my older son was conceived. And I'll tell you this. We moved down to Florida from Burlington, Vermont. We moved down to Florida. We had a Volvo station wagon. We had paid for the apartment for 2 months, that we moved sight unseen. We loaded all of our shit into that Volvo station wagon. We moved down there. She thought she had a job lined up already. I was going to look for one. Turns out the restaurant where she was going to work had no work. So we literally spent every day, every moment together. I would go and do odd jobs. I was doing valet, like driving Lambos and shit, which was awesome. And then she had to work. And then it got busy for a second, and then it mellowed out again. We were so poor that we took all of the change we had, and because we drank a lot back then, we were younger. And we didn't have a car because the Volvo blew up and all that stuff. We took all the change we had. We walked like 3 miles in Florida heat, bought a bottle of vodka and a bag of oranges from a guy selling oranges on the side of the street, and made our own vodka orange juice, squeezing out oranges. And then we had a kid. Like, that's how that works. We had nothing. Like, I remember when we sat there and we're like, what are we going to do? We have no money, no real job, no prospects. But you know what? It happens. That's what happens. That's what, God at that point was like, okay, kids, time to grow up. Here's a baby, and that's it. And that's it. So I can't understand how anybody would ever advocate for the ability to kill that baby. Do you know what I mean? I just can't. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are like, your liberal minds are exploding right now, but it's a baby. It's a baby. And especially if you have babies, like if you have your own kids, you know what I mean? And maybe like I'm countering my own points that I made a few minutes ago by saying, well, we could all work together. We all have values. That's not a value as much as it is like a moral, like, okay, you're non-human if you think it's acceptable to kill a baby. In my regard, you know what I mean? I've said that. I don't pass judgment on many people. You got a criminal record. You've been a fuck up all your life. I don't pass judgment on it. You kill a baby? Oh yeah, you're like the scum of the earth. Let me ask you the difference. And let's put this into perspective. What is the difference? I'm gonna piss off some of you guys right now. I'm gonna piss off some of you, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What is the difference between a mother who aborts her child for no other reason? We're not talking about medical issues or rape or incest or none of that, because I've already made that position clear. We're talking about a healthy baby that's growing inside, and the mother just doesn't want him. What is the difference between the mother who kills that baby inside of her and the gunman who shot 8-year-old Sequoia Turner? What is the difference? What is the difference between the mother who kills that baby inside of her than the gunman who walked up to the back of Cannon Hinton's head and shot him in the head? The little 8-year-old playing in the middle of the roadway in broad daylight in North Carolina. What is the difference between the mother who takes that little baby who has a whole life ahead of him and kills him, and then anyone that gets shot in Chicago, New York, Philly, a random small town America every single day? What is the difference? There is no difference in my mind. And so that's why there's I said, we have values. I have values. Liberals have values. They're still American values. I think when you get to that level of fucked upness, you know what I mean? That I don't think abortion is a value. I think abortion is a sin, and not just a sin of God, a sin like literally, like, oh my God, I can't imagine. I would probably be in jail if I ever had a girlfriend that made that decision without me. I'll be completely honest with you, because it's just wrong on so many levels. It's just wrong. It's not about a right, because you're literally forgetting someone else's right there. The little baby, the little heart that's beating inside of you. You know what I mean? And so I know that just kind of, I walked away from when I'm like, you have a value, I have a value. It's still American values because I'm an American. But then when you jump into the abortion and that could also be argued about a lot of things and a lot of topics. But that one's the most cut and dry, I think. You know what I mean? And that's my belief. And I know a lot of people disagree with it. And a lot of people will be like, oh, what about, where it's a medical necessity? That's different. What about rape and incest? That's different. I mean, I believe, even though it sucks, and I know it puzzles me to even feel this way, rape or incest, or the mom or the baby's going to die. I mean, those are where you really have to have a talk with God or with whoever. And I'm not going to pass judgment on those people, but the ones that are healthy people, fully capable. I mean, there's people like entitled ass women out there, girls, women that have there are very entitled people out there that would have the funds and the resources to take care of the baby that they created. Instead, they choose to kill it. You know what I mean? Those are the reasons. Those are the people who ruined it for all of you others. And that's my firm belief. And I know it's a little bit different. And I know it may be a little bit harder for people to understand in that regard, but even with me saying that, I could still say we're all going to be able to work together someday, Republicans and Democrats, because to be honest, I don't think abortion is a Republican or Democrat frame of mind, because I've met Republicans that believe in abortion and I've met Democrats that don't believe in abortion. You know what I mean? And so that's not exactly a partisan issue as much as it is like, do you believe in life? You know what I mean? Which is weird because and I've said this before, a lot of people that would believe in the right, that they have the right to kill the baby that's growing inside them. They also believe that the government doesn't have the right to kill a man who kills children. Isn't that peculiar? And if you do believe in the death penalty for a child killer, wouldn't you agree with your own death penalty? You see what I did there? I'm dead ass right now. Like you hear, I'm changing my view on this even more. I'm getting more right leaning in terms of abortion, because here's the thing: if that baby comes out, right, and that baby is, say, 5 months old, and the mom kills the baby, the mom's guilty of murder. How come just 8 months prior to that she wouldn't be guilty of murder in some states? There's no fucking moral argument for that. There's no moral argument for that at all. But that's it. That's all I'm talking about in terms of that. Did you guys hear California? This is a new one that the red state actually just put out yesterday. California apparently released this new gun CCW permit. And I don't think we wrote an article on this, but they released this CCW permit portal, and apparently there was a glitch in it. And so for some time, from Sunday until sometime yesterday, apparently anyone could log into the state of California and get a big database list of all the permit holders in California, including judges, police officers, domestic battery, people that got their permits for that. Here's the thing: they didn't just get the names; they got the addresses. They got the counties. They got the dates of birth. Yeah. And you're not going to see that on mainstream media. They're not going to report on that. And they haven't even said, because someone's like, wow, big mistake. They didn't even say if it was a mistake. They just said it happened. And then when the journalist went back to see if it was still there, it wasn't available anymore to download. You could still look up the names and all that, but all the personal identifying information, PII as they call it, was removed, or the ability to access it was removed. But who knows how long that database and how many times that database was downloaded. Only the state of California would actually know, because they keep track records on that. They know how many people have a full and complete list of every concealed carry permit holder in California. Will they tell the public? Probably not. But here's one thing, and this is a smooth as fuck transition right here. Have you guys heard of aura.com/citizen? Aura.com is an identity theft protection company that I don't mention that much because they have really strict guidance, and I'm freeballing here. Weird term, but I'm not following their script. I'm saying it as it is because we just did an identity theft. Aura.com is an identity theft company. They monitor your identity online. They monitor your bank accounts, your transactions, all that stuff. They keep it all flat on a lock, and it's also insured as well. In addition to that, they also have their own antivirus software for your computers, where depending on what plan you have, you can have up to 7 devices. But wait, there's more. They also have their own VPN. So instead of using all these other providers, you got one person monitoring your credit, one person doing your notifications, one person doing your antivirus, and another one doing your VPN. You can use aura.com/citizen and get yourself 15 days free and then 40% off your monthly price. Aura.com/citizen. Aura.com/citizen. Go sign up. It's great for us. It's great for you. All right. Protect your identity online with Aura. Whoo-wee. All right. You guys know we sell coffee. You guys probably are so tired of me saying that, but we do. What's up, guys? You like coffee, but you're tired of the shitty Folgers coffee that you buy at your grocery chain? Or are you tired of the wokeness of all these Patriot coffee companies online? Well, check out Pure Truth Coffee Company. You can visit puretruthcoffee.com and order 6 blends. That's what we carry because we don't want to overdo your taste buds. So we have 6 blends of the best coffee. We have Harlem's Finest, where 100% of the proceeds go towards New York City police charities. We've got Awake Not Woke. You know why? Well, because fuck the woke. We've got, what do we got? French Vanilla. It's nice. It's nice. Smells really great. We got the Wake Up America Breakfast Blend. We've got the Pardon My French Roast. And then we have, if you're a real caffeine addict, we have our signature Flying High octane coffee. Don't drink if you have heart issues because it'll kick your ass. Check it out, puretruthcoffee.com, puretruthcoffee.com, puretruthcoffee.com. All right, well, we're back now for the second, third, fourth quarter of the show, whatever time. I think I've been live for 42 minutes already. Woo-wee. It's going longer than I even thought I would. Something said something new on Ray Epps. Thank you, God Rides a Harley. Look at that. That guy he's a champion. God Rides a Harley is a champion with the super chats. He does at least one every day, sometimes more. Why aren't you, all others that are watching YouTube, sending super chats? We're independent. We need your support. Anyway, enough. Yeah, it's just a crazy world. It's a crazy world we live in every day. I wish today was Friday so I could take the next 2 days off, but I can't. Donald Trump announced a new rally on July 9th, and we will not be there. Not will we just not be there because, well, they've kicked us out of the last rally. Nope, not just because of that. Because it's in Anchorage, Alaska. And I ain't jumping on a plane, okay? Even though I would kind of like to go to Alaska because I've never been. But no, I'm not going. I did apply for press credentials. So I got to say, even with all the shit that I talked last time, if they now figured out who I am and they do award those press credentials, I probably still won't go because I won't be able to afford the damn plane ticket to go. But I probably have a good opportunity to go. There likely won't be national media and they'll want the media attention. But long story short, that's July 9th in Anchorage, Alaska. And likely not going there. But yeah, we live in a weird world, you know. A lot of people are asking in the chat something about Ray Epps. I'm not quite sure why you're asking about Ray Epps. There's a couple of like fake articles that are out there that mention Ray Epps, but he's, saying that he was going to testify. And look at the source, guys. Look at the source. That's the only thing I'd say. If it begins with a G and ends with a pundit, it's probably not the best source to actually get any actual information, even though sometimes they do, but a lot of times they have clickbait articles, and I'm not a fan of that type of journalism. My personal preference. You guys can have your own preference on everything. But I don't think there's been anything new about Ray Epps that's come out, and I don't believe he's going to testify. But then again, the next 2 hearings that we're going to hear sometime in July are apparently going to be focused more on the actual riots and the violence that happened on January 6th. And maybe then Ray Epps will be part of that conversation because, after all, he was one of the primary instigators even the night before. I believe he was the only one the night before that was caught on videotape saying that they are going to storm the Capitol. So maybe he will testify. Maybe he will, say, "Hi, my name is Special Agent Ray Epps," or something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll have to wait and see when the next January 6th sideshow begins, which is, I think they said sometime in January. And if I'm on vacation, I'm on vacation. I'll be on vacation July. It's weird because I'm going to Ohio to pick up the cabinets the weekend of July 10th. And then I'm coming back, leaving the cabinets in the trailer, and then beelining up to the Jersey Shore for 2 or 3 days. I'll be up there. And then I'm coming back because I can't stay away from work for an entire week. Just can't do it. And it's not because I miss you or anything like that. It's literally I get so tired of sitting on the beach. I'm not a big beach man. You know what I mean? I burn. I'm Irish. I turn red as shit. So, yeah, there's that. Again, as a reminder, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this early. Hopefully I make it to the post office by 5 o'clock to drop off the coffee boxes that I packed up today. Also, whoever ordered the small, I forgot your name. You ordered a coffee box and you're small because now with our coffee boxes, you get a shirt. You got a shit ton of shirts. I'll just be honest with you because I have a ton of smalls. You got a Let's Go Brandon sweatshirt. Shout out to you. And guys, we have a ton of coffee. You can go to puretruthcoffee.com, place your order today. Here's the thing. Anyone with the Wake Up America, the coffee's available. We just got the coffee in, but I opened up the packaging bags today and they were 12-ounce bags. I sell 1 pound, so I had to send them back. They're sending them. I should get them either tomorrow or Friday. But yeah, we'll be shipping up a ton. Go to puretruthcoffee.com, get all your coffee from there. If you want to get a Scooter Steve mug, okay, you're never getting the mugs again. I'll never sell them again. These are only back because you guys asked for it, okay? I used to have the t-shirt from when I was in DC covering the whatever and riding the scooter around on December 12th. That's a long time ago. December 12th of 2020. Whoo-wee. That was the last time. That's when I made the Scooter Steve shirts. And yeah, we have those on mugs, on white ceramic porcelain mugs. That'll be going out. You can go to politicallyincorrectstore.com. Click up at the top. You'll see Patriot Box. Order your Patriot Box. It comes with a shirt, a sticker, a bunch of stickers actually, and one of these Scooter Steve mugs. If you already ordered last month, you don't need to worry about it. You're getting a mug. If you ordered before I just said this, you're getting a mug. And if you've ordered twice before I said this and you didn't get your box, you're getting 1 mug and then you're getting the next box. Anyway, and there's 2 people that didn't get the May box. I don't know why. One was a medium and one was a 5X. And your boxes are made, but I don't know where the fucking labels are. So I'm going to have to reprint them. But those will likely go out on Friday as well. But yeah, we just need your support. So go buy the shit in the stores. Like dead ass. Because what I need to do is in the next, I was supposed to put the bar up at the bottom, but I forgot to, is we need to make essentially $4,000 or $5,000 this week so I can go through the new roaster and place a big coffee roast, which allows me to actually give you guys more with the coffee order without having to raise the price. So then you'll get like a cup of coffee. You may get like a French press one time. You may get a coffee cup. You may just get, knickknacks in it, but you're going to get more than just a bag of coffee when everything's all said and done. But they have big minimum requirements and it works out to be too much money. You know what I mean? It's about $4,000 for their minimum quantity, and that's going to be 600 pounds of coffee. But you got to do what you got to do. And I won't have to package. So the only thing I do is slap that sucker, slap the label on there, and then it's ready to go. So it's much, much easier for me, better price and all that. But unfortunately, I can't place that big order until we make that much money. You know what I mean? So we need you guys, 1, to buy the coffee, that we have in the store. 2, go buy the Patriot boxes. I ordered 174 mugs. So I'll have those to print up for anyone who wants a Scooter Steve mugs. Most of them are going to be an 11 ounce. There may be a couple of 15 ounces because those are the kind of mugs that I like, the bigger cups. And then, yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll be live tomorrow. I did record stuff for the morning's headlines, but right next door is the dentist's office. And right beyond, we have like I don't know what the hell it is, a false door or something over here. They have an air compressor on the other side of that wall that they use for all their drilling machines. And when they're here, it presses out a really loud noise. So it seemed like every time I was in the middle of talking about something, that air compressor let out the air. And I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it. But yeah, we'll see. All right. But I appreciate all you guys for hanging out with me for this hour. I will not be live again. This show will replay at, I don't know, 5:10 and then 9 o'clock tonight. Pete Santilli will be live from 8 until 9 tonight on Citizen Stringer and Citizen Stringer Radio. Till tomorrow, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.